Hey, it's Steve Kyler and Giannis Koutroupas. It's HOOPSWORLD TV. Now, Giannis, we're into some games. We saw some games this week that have already mattered, at least mattered a little bit. We saw the Miami Heat get their ring. We saw Rajon Rondo lose his cool. We saw the Lakers. I don't even know what to call that Lakers game. And, hey, the Cleveland Cavaliers look pretty good. So let's jump into kind of the first one. Miami Heat, initial impressions for you. I think the one thing that jumped out at me is, hey, I think I remember Chris Bosh can play center.
Not only can he play center, but he can be a real mismatch nightmare there with his versatility to play inside and out. And as long as he focuses on the defensive end of controlling the paint, rebounding the basketball at a high rate, and trying to protect the rim, I think that they're going to be able to get away with it when you consider what all they have around it. And the fact that the center position isn't terrifying by any stretch of the imagination. There are some guys you have to worry about, Chris Bosh defending, but those guys are few and far between. So, definitely a Miami Heat team that reloaded and revamped that championship roster with two great additions in Rashard Lewis and Ray Allen. They looked every bit like a team to beat last night.
You know, you talk about Ray Allen, and of course, all eyes were on how were the Celtics going to treat Ray Allen. I think they forgot Ray can shoot the ball a little bit. If Ray's going to get that much daylight, how hard is it going to be to stay up or even get up on a Miami Heat team? I look at that game and I go, you know, LeBron James doesn't go to the locker room with cramps. That's probably a 30-point blowout. But when you talk about how much respect Dwayne Wade gets, how much respect LeBron gets. Now you got to respect Chris Bosh. The daylight Ray Allen is going to see. You know, a lot of people said when James Harden left for Houston, Ray Allen was probably your front runner for Sixth Man of the Year. I think I'm buying that stock today because Ray looked real good in the opener.
I mean, this is a guy that's going to be able to make 3-point shots until he's 60, 70 years old. I mean, the jump shot is the last thing you go.
He'll be that old guy on the court that you go, no, he can't make it anymore, and he's going to drain another one on you.
Yeah, he'll be winning 3-point shooting contests until he dies. I mean, this is just one of the greatest shooters we've ever seen. And they're in Miami with two great creators in LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, and even Chris Bosh to a certain extent, a guy who demands a lot of attention. He's going to continue to see a lot of daylight. And it's funny that you say the Celtics forgot he could shoot. No one should know better. He did have some struggles there late in the year, but this is a guy who, when you give him just a split second of daylight, he's going to be able to drain it. And I think that we're going to continue to see a lot of what we saw last night with Ray Allen now that he's a member of the Miami Heat.
Now, one of the things that Coach Spoelstra did in the offseason, and I don't think maybe he got enough credit for this, you know, he spent a lot of time learning from other coaches. You know, he spent some time with the Denver Nuggets coaches. He spent some time with some defensive coaches. You know, he didn't rest on his championship laurels. And one of the things that they were talking about was they were going to institute some more dribble drive. They were going to get their scoring volume up. And you look at the score in that opener, well over 100 points. If the Miami Heat are going to score 100 a game the way they can defend, a lot of teams are going to have a rough night. I don't know that there are too many teams outside of maybe, you know, the Denver Nuggets that can hang with a team averaging well up over 100. And it looks like the Heat could do it with ease. You know, Boston's known for their defense. They didn't look very good against the Celtics.
And credit Eric Spoelstra for having the same type of mentality with himself as a coach that Pat Riley had as a general manager in assembling this team. Wasn't content, wasn't reading his own headlines now that he won his first championship. And I think obviously that has earned him some well-deserved comfort when it comes to his spot as the head coach of the Miami Heat. I think we're going to see him there for many, many years to come. But he went out there and he thought, how can I get better? This is a young guy who understands that he still has a lot to learn. And there are people who he can learn from, even though they may not have NBA championship as a head coach under their resume. And, we saw firsthand at Impact Basketball, him having guys working with guys on that dribble drive offense that you mentioned. And I think that it's an important cause. And that's why Eric Spoelstra has turned out to be such a great fit for this team, because he just fits the mentality and is willing to go through the necessary development that he needs to in order to remain the right guy for this team.
All right, over under. Do the Miami Heat win more than 60 games this season?
I'm going to go over, and I'm going to go well over. I think they could win 65, maybe even teeter towards 68, 69. If this team stays healthy, there are going to be a handful of teams, maybe only 2 or 3, that can beat them when they come and play their best basketball.
He's Giannis Koutroupas. I'm Steve Kyler. This is HOOPSWORLD TV.